The last joke of the year. I hear about this man. Harry, you pay attention for this one. He's talking about the Gabbai. The Gabbai went to talk to one of the congregants to offer him an aliyah to the Torah. Say, what's your name? And he said, my name is Sarah Bat Reuben. He said, but wasn't your name Jacob ben something? So, no, you know what happened is I've been having some financial difficulties, so everything is my wife's name now. I want to talk to you today about Am Yisrael Chai. Have you ever heard this one? Am Yisrael Chai. Actually, it's interesting because I'm going to bet that in the last couple of months, we all either heard it, said it, posted it on social media, or something like that. It became like a new Jewish anthem. I would say just second to the Hatikva. Okay, and both actually, Am Yisrael Chai and the Hatikva has been very present in our lives lately. But I don't know if you are aware of where this Am Yisrael Chai is coming from. It's something that is being around for hundreds of years. What would you say? The Am Yisrael Chai? You will be a little bit disappointed with this one. Because the first one that this phrase was known to the Jewish people was actually April 20th, 1945. During a BBC broadcast after the liberation of Bergen-Belsen camp, that the chaplain of the British Army, his name was Rabbi Leslie Hartman, he said, Am Yisrael Chai, the people of Israel live, and then he sang the Hatikva after a Friday night service. That was the first time. And then it was kind of picked up by Rabbi Shlomo Karlebach when he actually put a melody to this. But that didn't happen until 1965, where it was commissioned by a group of Jewish young Russians who wanted to have some kind of anthem for themselves, some kind of song of hope for all the troubles that the Jewry in Russia was having at the time. So they actually contacted Rabbi Shlomo Karlebach. By the way, the story was that they couldn't find him anywhere because he was traveling all around the world, but they knew where Karlebach's mother lived. So they contacted her and said, hey, next time you talk to your son, please ask him if he can put a melody to the Am Yisrael Chai. Okay? So 1945 was the first time that it was known. But where is it coming from? Am Yisrael Chai. Because it's not in the Torah. It's not in the Talmud. But the understanding is it is based on a phrase from the Torah, a verse from the Torah that actually was read in last week's Parsha. And that is remember when Joseph said, I'm Joseph, right? And then what was the first question he asked his brother? He said, Ha'od avi chai. He said, is my father alive? Right? So the phrase that became from there is, and actually Karlebach used it for his song, is Od Avinu Chai, our father is still alive. And from there, it came Am Yisrael Chai. So Jacob is alive, and the people of Jacob are alive. Am Yisrael. Israel is Jacob. Am Yisrael Chai. So it's very interesting how when we say Am Yisrael Chai, the people of Israel lived, by saying that, at the same time, we are implying that we are the descendants of Jacob. And why is this so important, especially this week? Because this week is when Jacob was afraid that all his legacy was going to be lost forever, and nobody was going to remember him. And his memory is going to fade out and die. This week's Parsha, it says that at one point, when Jacob was in Egypt, It says that he felt that he was dying. So he called Joseph. And then he said to Joseph, Joseph, you have to promise me, you have to swear to me one thing, that you are not going to let anyone want to bury me in Egypt. And the rabbi said, what does it mean, I don't want to be buried in Egypt? Egypt became a symbol of a foreign culture, a symbol of detachment from the land of Israel, a symbol of being in the general society. So what Jacob was saying to Joseph is, please, it's okay, you're living in Egypt, you may not live in the land of Israel in certain periods of history, but I'm asking you one thing, don't let my memory be buried under Egypt. Don't let my memory disappear because you are too attached to the culture when you are going to live. So it's such a tall order from Jacob to say that. But in order to be sure that they will have a better chance to fulfill that promise, immediately after he goes into what we read into this parsha, into blessing each one of his children and letting them know their strength and their flaws, to be sure that they will be able to succeed, to continue with the legacy of Jacob for many, many, many generations. But this is interesting, because the other reason why we say, Am Israel Chai, the people of Israel live, is an implication that we will live forever. Why? Because the Talmud says something very interesting. It says that Jacob didn't die. I know, even in the Talmud, the first answer, when one rabbi said Jacob didn't die, there is another rabbi who said, what are you talking about? The Torah is saying that he died, he was embalmed, and he was buried. How can you say that Jacob didn't die? And you know what this rabbi answered? He said, because as his children are alive, Jacob is alive. And there is something in the word, let me tell you this. When the Torah is talking about the death of Abraham, it's using two words to describe the death. It says, Vaigva, Vayamot. Vaigva means he passed away. Vayamot means he died. So about Abraham, the Torah said, he passed away and he died. When Isaac died, it says, Vaigva Vayamot, he passed away and he died. When Jacob died, it says Vaigva, but it doesn't say Vayamot. So why? What's the difference between Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? And the rabbis explain that Abraham had also a spiritual legacy that came after him. But only Isaac continued with that. So because one of his children took a different route, so part of Abraham died. It's not only that he passed away, but part of him died because of the decision made by one of his children. Same happened with Isaac. He has two kids. Only one continued with the legacy of his father. So part of Isaac died. So he, Vaigva, Vayamot, it also died. But Jacob was the first one. I don't know if you realize that. He was the first one that all his children continued with the legacy of their father. So that's why he said, Vaigva, he passed away, but he never died, because all of Jacob remained alive in all of his children. And this is also a responsibility for us, the descendants of Jacob, the descendants of Israel, the one who actually have the courage to say, I'm Israel Chai, to make that a reality, and to keep Israel/Jacob alive. So what is the secret? What is the formula? What is the Jewish way to keep Jacob/Israel alive? We also learn it in this parsha. Because before Jacob had the opportunity to bless all his children, he had a special blessing for his two grandchildren. He called Ephraim and Menashe. And he told Joseph, this is the way you are going to bless Israel. It means this is the way we are going to bless our children in the future. Yesimcha Elohim ke'Ephraim vehi Menashe. May God bless you like he blessed Ephraim and Menashe. And what was so special about Ephraim and Menashe that we want to bless our children the same way? And the rabbis explain something beautiful. And they say that since the revelation of the Torah on Sinai, every generation became a little bit more detached from that revelation. Think about it. It's that every generation, we are one generation more further away from that event, right? And then it's almost like everything from there gets watered down. But it happened with everything. Every time we have something important in Jewish history, every generation that comes after that, everything becomes a little bit more watered down. Think about the Holocaust. If you go talk to Jewish children in these days about the Holocaust, test them how much they know about it. And then you think, oy vey, what is going to happen the next generation? Same about the creation of the modern state of Israel. Every generation knows less and less about what happened, about all the sacrifices, all the dreams, and everything that we have to go through to have the state of Israel. Let's go back to Ephraim and Menashe. Jacob knew that. And he realized that everything that he did during his life perhaps would start being a little bit watered down in his own children. But then he saw Ephraim and Menashe, the next generation, that they, even though they were born in Egypt, they were still 100% committed without any kind of forgetfulness about what Jacob implied, what Jacob taught. So he said, not just my children, but their children are still committed. So may you be blessed like Ephraim and Menashe. Let you remember like the previous generation knew. And the generation before that knew. And if we can guarantee that our grandchildren will know what we know, and they will be as committed or more as we are, then we can say, Am Israel Chai. The people of Israel lived because there is a next generation that it will make that a reality. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.